What's up guys, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and in this video we're going to be doing our initial comparison between the Google Pixel 3 XL and the iPhone XS Max. So we've got the best from Google and the best from Apple here, and hopefully by the end of this video you'll know which device is better for you. So starting off with the size differences, both are actually very similar in size, both pretty large devices. Now, although they're very similar in size, the iPhone does have a slightly larger 6.5-inch display compared to the 6.3 inches on the Pixel 3 XL. Now, this is because the iPhone does have a slightly better screen-to-body ratio, and both devices do have a notch. The iPhone notch is a little bit wide, whereas the Pixel notch is very deep. The Pixel also has a chin. This is something that the iPhone doesn't have. The bezels are uniform all around, so you do have a larger chin on the Pixel. However, the Pixel does have front-firing stereo speakers within that notch and that chin. The iPhone does have stereo speakers, but one is in the earpiece and one is bottom firing, so it is still possible to cover this speaker up when you've got it in your hand. Neither of the devices have a 3.5mm jack. Unfortunately, this is something that we didn't have on the previous versions either. However, on the Pixel, you do get the dongle out of the box, the 3.5mm to USB Type-C dongle. This is something that you do not unfortunately get with the iPhone XS Max. It's something that we did have for the last couple of years on the previous versions, but we no longer get that out of the box. Taking a closer look at the displays, both do have OLED displays which do look really good. We've got very high contrast ratios and really nice and vibrant colors. Now, my initial impressions, both are very good. I'll have to spend some more time with them and test them out in bright daylight and things to really tell the differences. The Pixel, however, does have a slightly higher pixel density. Pixel density. Now, this isn't going to be hugely noticeable for most people, but this does mean that details will be slightly sharper on the Pixel compared to the iPhone. The iPhone, however, does have 3D touch. Now, this is a pressure-sensitive display, and it's going to allow you to push down harder on certain items to get more options and things. This is something that you don't have on the Pixel. Now, let's talk about the build and design. The iPhone has a stainless steel frame with a glass panel at the back. Now, Apple is saying that this is the most durable glass on any smartphone, and from the drop test that I've seen, it does seem very durable. The Pixel has a painted metal frame, so you've got a layer of paint above the metal. Now, this may mean that if you get a chip or something, it's going to be a little bit more visible on the Pixel compared to the stainless steel frame of the iPhone. But you also have a glass back. However, the glass back on the Pixel is slightly different. It's actually soft touch glass. Now, this makes it a little bit more grippy compared to the iPhone, and it also attracts less fingerprints. Which one of these is better is going to come down to your personal preference. In my opinion, both are very good and premium. If you do want to, however, customize the look of either of these and want to add more grip and get rid of fingerprints, then I definitely recommend picking up a skin from our channel sponsor, dbrand Skins. I'm going to be leaving a link to them in the description below. They've got lots of skins for the iPhone available already, and the Pixel skins are now on pre-order. Both devices are also IP68 Water Dust Resistant, which is great. Last year we had IP67 for both the previous versions, so it's nice to see that improvement this year. And now let's talk about the internals. So with the iPhone XS Max, we've got the Apple A12 Bionic Chip. It is very fast and smooth. I've been using the XS Max for the past few weeks, and I really haven't had any performance issues whatsoever. The Pixel 3 XL has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 processor, and both devices have 4GB of RAM. Now, if you want me to do a speed test between these two, SuperSaf style, definitely let me know in the comments below, and I'll do that very soon. But both devices should be very fast and smooth, and that is also thanks to the operating systems. Both do have stock versions of their respective operating systems. We've got Android P on the Pixel, and then we've got iOS 12 on the iPhone. Now, what this means is that you're going to be getting updates directly from Google and Apple. You're not going to have to wait around or anything like you have to do with lots of other devices. However, which is better is going to come down completely to your personal preference. Both have their advantages and disadvantages. Now let's talk about the cameras. So the iPhone has a dual rear-facing camera setup, both at 12 megapixels with optical image stabilization. The primary camera has a regular angular view and has an f1.8 aperture. And the secondary camera is a telephoto camera, which is going to give you 2x optical zoom, and that has an f2.4 aperture. I've been using the iPhone camera since it was released, and I have to say it's definitely been improved compared to last year, especially when it comes to dynamic range. Smart HDR really does help. Now this is an area where Google is very, very good at dynamic range, and we've got a single rear-facing camera which is 12 megapixels. It has optical image stabilization and an f1.8 aperture with Google's Pixel Visual Core. Now I'm still waiting for the latest software update on the Pixel before I can do a detailed SuperSaf style camera comparison, and if you want to see that first, then make sure you have subscribed and switch on notifications, because that's going to be coming very, very soon. Now the iPhone does get a couple of advantages. Firstly, it does have the secondary camera, so it's going to give you 2x optical zoom, which is always going to be better compared to digital zoom. And it can also film video at high frame rates. We've got 4K at up to 60 frames a second and 1080p at up to 240 frames a second, whereas on the Pixel it is 4K at 30 frames a second and 1080p at up to 120 frames a second. And when it comes to the front-facing cameras, things are reversed. So we now have dual cameras for the Pixel 3 XL. We have a single front-facing camera for the iPhone XS Max. The front-facing camera on the iPhone XS Max is 7 megapixels with an f2.2 aperture. Once again, it has definitely been improved compared to last year. With the Pixel, you've got two 8 megapixel cameras. The primary camera has an f1.8 aperture, and that has a regular angle of view. And the secondary camera has an f2.2 aperture, and this has a very wide angle of view, 97 degrees. And this is going to be great for your group selfies. And as mentioned, I will be putting these two side by side very, very soon, so do look out for that. Now looking at the security, the iPhone does have Face ID, works really well and is very, very fast. The Pixel has a fingerprint scanner at the back, Pixel imprint, and it also works really well and really fast. I think this is going to come down to your personal preference, whether you like a fingerprint scanner or facial recognition. Honestly speaking, I don't think you can go wrong with either of these. They work very, very well. Now moving on to the batteries, the Pixel does have a slightly larger battery compared to the iPhone. Now usage-wise, this is going to depend, and we're going to have to see how well each of these do. The iPhone XS Max, in my experience of using it over the past couple of weeks, has been very, very good in terms of battery life. We'll see how good the Pixel is going forward. Both devices do support wireless charging, which is great, and they also do support fast charging. However, the iPhone does not come with the fast charger out of the box. This is something that you do get with the Pixel. Now this is something that I've talked about a few times before. It's unfortunate that Apple does not include the fast charger out of the box, especially considering how much you're going to be paying for the iPhone. And that is £1,100 or dollars for the base 64GB model. And comparing it to the price of the 64GB version of the Pixel, you are going to be paying quite a bit more for the iPhone. The Pixel coming in more than 20% cheaper. Now you do get additional and larger storage options for the iPhone, going up to 512GB, whereas the Pixel only goes up to 128GB. However, with the Pixel, you do get unlimited storage at full resolution of all of your photos and videos for a couple of years. This is something that's included with the purchase of your Pixel, and after those couple of years, you will still get high resolution backups, but not full resolution. So that's definitely something to bear in mind. If you do want to get iCloud on your iPhone, you are going to have to pay for that separately. In terms of availability, the XS Max is available right now. With the Pixel, pre-orders have started right now, and it's going to be coming out around the 1st of November. And those are the key differences between these two devices. I personally cannot wait to test out the cameras in more detail between these two SuperSaf style. And if you want to see that video first, then make sure you have subscribed and switch on notifications. As mentioned, that will be coming very soon. I'll be working on it over the next few days. What do you guys think of the Google Pixel 3 XL and the iPhone XS Max? Which would be your choice? Definitely drop me a comment below and let me know. And also let me know which comparisons and other videos you'd like me to do with the Pixel 3 XL. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV. I'll see you next time.